Welcome back to Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the best from the world of CrossFit. Podcasts, news, special interest, health, fitness. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notifier so you're the first to know when we have new episodes. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Music Show. I am so pumped, so stoked. This is our first listener edition of the Clydesdale Media Music, and I am so pumped to have Alyse with me tonight. What's going on, Alyse?
Not much. Just been making my list, checking it twice.
And I didn't want to attempt your last name.
Ridao. It's like Rideo. It doesn't look like that, but
yeah. Awesome. So the first question I have for you is, we were talking last night about Madison, and you said, pick me up on the way. I know you're from Indiana. Are you anywhere close to 70?
I'm pretty far south, but I'm trying to think of where 70 is. I think it would take like an hour.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer.
So it's a straight line.
Hey, I'll meet you halfway.
It's a straight line from Columbus to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So that's what 70 is. And then we make a hard right and we go straight north to Madison.
Yeah. It's about 2 hours in. They put in a new interstate like not too long ago, or they've been working on it for years, but I think I could get to Indy in 2 hours.
Okay.
So that's not bad. That's shorter than driving all the way there.
We'll probably have an extra seat. Just saying.
I'll have to find a babysitter.
Might even have an extra credential. Never know.
Oh, dang. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
There you go. I'm always up for expanding the team at the games because the more coverage we can get, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are doing the top 5 Goo Goo Doll songs of all time. You and I both had a hard time getting this narrowed down. Yes. But I want to explain to the audience kind of why we picked Goo Goo Dolls. So do you remember the initial conversation you and I had?
I don't remember it word for word, but I know you put up those year-end things that everybody puts up of like Spotify and stuff. The rap, is it called a rap? Year rap or something?
I think so.
And you had the band on your bands or a song on your songs, I think. And I just saw your story and I commented on it.
Yeah. And we started talking about it, how we both love the band. They are in my top 5 bands of all time.
Yeah, mine too.
And I think they're probably number 3 on my list. Don't want to spoil it in case we do that in the future, but they probably sit at number 3 for me.
Interesting. You say U2 was your, did you say, well, we won't say, just in case you did the list.
You can say. It's cool that you actually know that. Like that, all this stuff blows my mind.
Because I think you said that on the show when you were talking about one of the music shows, maybe, that U2 was your favorite band.
U2's number 1.
Yeah.
Van Halen's number 2.
Well, you can't spoil it. You just said you didn't want to spoil your list. You have to go top 10, maybe. Top 10, maybe. So then you still have plenty to go.
So my Pac-Man game just kicked on. So if you hear waka 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 waka, that's what's going on.
It won't faze me.
I don't know.
If you hear chaos, then
okay. All right, fair enough. So a little bit about the band. Currently on Spotify, they have 2.5 million followers. They have 12.5 million monthly listeners to this day, and they're not really in the peak of their popularity. Still putting out good music, in my opinion, but not really the peak. They started the band in 1986, and the 2 founding members are Johnny Resnick and Robbie Takek. And one interesting fact is it was not until album 3 that John Resnick became lead singer of the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Robbie was the lead singer of the band up until that point.
I'm not I'm definitely don't like Robbie's sound as much as I do John's.
I don't
That's just
either.
my opinion.
Robbie got one of his songs in my honorable mention, and that is it.
He got 0 in mine.
There you go. Yeah. One definitely has a much more, gosh, tolerable voice almost.
Yeah, smoother.
Much smoother. Like Resnick is one of the top singers of all time, and Robbie is just a punk singer from the
Yeah.
80s. So, with that, did you know that Billboard did a top 100 pop songs from 1992 to 2012? And in that top 100, Goo Goo Dolls were the only band to get 3 songs in the top 100, and
I
2 of them
didn't.
were in the top 10.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see if those songs make our list.
Yeah.
So, as always, my guest gets to go first. We'll start with 5. We'll go to 1.
My number 5 was Better Days. The OG version, like the one that was on the OG CD and not the one that they put it out. I guess it was actually like a Christmas song and they put it out in 20, was it 2021 maybe they did the Christmas CD and they had a kid sing it and it was beautiful. I mean, anytime a kid sings, it's kind of like a little bit more angelic, but I would be for ranking it would be like the OG version.
Yeah, I agree. It is actually my number 5 as well.
Really?
Yeah, and one of the reasons is I've mentioned on the show that I've been the lead singer of a band. What sucks with this sinus thing I have going on is I cannot sing right now.
Yeah.
Or I would sing a bar or 2 of some of these songs. I know you've begged me to do that
We'll
in the
save that.
past.
That can be a future show.
But my daughter and I used to sing this song together when she was little.
Oh, have you heard the version with the kids singing it?
I have. I do
Yeah.
like the OG version. This is the OG version for me as well.
Yeah.
And as a Christian, it really has a deep meaning for me,
Yeah.
because I do think it's kind of the story of Christ and how we can all follow him. And so it has a very deep meaning for me. And
Mhm.
so Better Days is my number 5 as well.
Wow, I already have one matching. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll have at least a couple that are different.
I am definitely sure of that. I have a couple obscure ones coming. So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Stay With You. It's kind of like I feel like anybody can kind of relate to it because it's just kind of about like finding your person and I mean everybody has to have their person. So
Yeah.
it's a good
And that's
one.
like, I'll stay with you.
Yeah,
That one,
it's
right?
kind of a little
It's on
slower,
my
yeah.
it's on my honorable mentions. And it's from the Let Love In album.
Yeah.
So right now you have 2 songs, both from the same album.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great song. I really had a tough time narrowing this down. So I'm glad you put it in your top 5. Because it is an awesome song. And it's about the commitment between people.
Yeah. And that's sometimes hard for people too. So I feel like that's just a song a lot of people can relate to. The
Yeah.
words in it. And obviously it's got a good melody too, but
Yeah. And so my number 4 is Black Balloon from Dizzy Up the Girl.
I had that on my honorable mentions.
Yeah. And it is one of my favorite songs to sing. It is right in my range. It is a song that I can belt. I
Oh,
love, love, love singing this song. If I'm
we're
in the
definitely
car
gonna,
and that song comes on, look out, roll down the windows. We're going to town.
all right. Maybe on the way to Madison,
There we go.
you'll be all fixed up by then.
Yeah. We used to do, at where I work, we used to do talent shows. And Black Balloon is one of the songs I did for one of the talent shows at work one time. It was very weird and odd seeing coworkers watch you sing. It wasn't
Did you win?
not that year.
Ugh.
I did win a year, but it wasn't with Black Balloon.
What did you sing
I
the year
learned
you won?
that ballads don't win you competitions. So the year I
Understood.
won was Let's Go Crazy by Prince.
Ooh,
And I put some dance moves into it. Started the
dancing?
song in a full black robe, ripped it off into a full purple outfit for the
Is there
song.
video of this somewhere?
There is somewhere.
Probably gonna
That
have to
and
see that.
that was 500 pounds, Scott.
Really?
Yeah. So
So that'd be extra entertainment, extra entertaining.
it would be. It would be.
Maybe you
But
can
I
reenact it.
still had the moves. I still had the.
You still had rhythm?
Yeah. I was getting down.
Well, you won, so they liked it.
I did. I did. It was awesome. So what made you fall in love with Goo Goo Dolls? Let's pause for a second.
Well, I remember hearing some of their songs growing up because I had an older sister. Because I would have been a little bit young for some of their first stuff. But I had an older sister, so I would hear some music that was not really necessarily my generation. And I always liked it, but I wasn't in love yet. But then when I met my husband, we were just like talking a little bit, and one of the things we talked about was music, and we talked about how we liked these people, and Goo Goo Dolls was one of them that we talked about. Well, then he just happened to like randomly get an email from a concert venue in Cincinnati, like shortly after we had that conversation. And he was like, "You want to go?" And I was like, sure. Because I didn't really know him that well. So I was kind of like, is he going to murder me? And I was like, it's fine. Yeah, sure, I'll go. And we went, and that was our first date. And it was just amazing. It was just a night that we'll never forget. And from then on, it was like my favorite band. So
Awesome. So are they number one on your list?
I haven't ranked. I just love so much music. I'm a music person, so it would be hard for me to rank, but they're definitely up there. I would say probably. I think of the Goo Goo Dolls, like you think of people, they use music to bring people that have Alzheimer's out of I'm a nurse and I used to work in a nursing facility, and we'd have people that were just completely, I guess you would say, dead. But then you could turn on a music that they had played or their favorite song, and it was like you would see glimpses. They would just come out of their Alzheimer's. I guess I'm running the show now, but you would see them. And I always say that Goo Goo Dolls will do that for me. Like if I ever have Alzheimer's or something, Goo Goo Dolls music will be what brings me out of it. So I would say they're my first. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am a bit older than you. And so the way I found them was a very weird way. I was I was just getting into college, and my best friend at the time, his nephew lived in Buffalo,
Hmm.
and he showed up for the summer one year, and he's like, I got these bootleg tapes from a band that's been playing in the bars in Buffalo. And he
Wow.
started playing it, and we were driving around listening to them. And this is like before they ever got popular. And we loved it. And we made copies of those bootleg tapes. So I was listening to like old Goo Goo Dolls before they ever hit
Wow.
the airwaves. And it was so cool when that happened. And I've had that happen a couple times in my life. But that one was probably the first time where like I discovered a band before they hit radio.
Hmm. And a big band.
Yeah, yeah.
That is cool
Later
when
in
that happens.
life, I lived in Tallahassee, Florida when Creed came out
Hmm.
and saw them in a bar before they were big. And I saw Collective Soul when they were in a bar too. So that was cool. But anyway, I digress.
I think Collective Soul was an Did they open for Goo Goo Dolls maybe on one of the tours? Or that?
Maybe not the tour I saw. The tour I saw was Third Eye Blind and Vanessa Carlton,
Oh,
and it was great. It was really great. So we go to number 3.
My number three is So Live. It's one of their newer albums. I think it was 2016 album, maybe right around that time.
Yeah.
Uh, I went. It was one of their newer albums, and we actually went back to a concert shortly after they came out with that album, and that was probably just my favorite song off that album. And then our oldest was really young, and he loved it. He loved that song. He always wanted us to play it, and he always just like would just belt it out. And it's kind of a little bit more upbeat. And also that year after that, I had two miscarriages, and sometimes if I was feeling kind of low, that would bring me like out of that a little bit. So that's why it got third on my list. It's a good one.
It
Do
is
you like that
so
one?
I do. I do. I did not have it on my honorable mentions. But yeah, that it is an awesome song. But what I love about what your story is, music emits so much emotion.
Uh-huh.
Like what you were going through and where you were the minute you hear a song.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And I love that through this tough time you had, that's the song that brought you up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was one of them. There was a few, but it also my son liked it, so it was like a double whammy with it. So, yep.
So my number 3 is probably the Goo Goo Dolls song I've performed the most, like out at bars and open mics and stuff like that. And it's just a fun song, and it is Slide from Dizzy Up the Girl.
Yeah. I feel like a lot
Um,
of people probably know that one too. Like even if you're not a Goo Goo Dolls fan, you've probably heard Slide at some
and
point.
it is
It's
one
one
of
of
the
their
3 songs that hit the top 100 from 92 to 2012, and it was at 24.
I would say I could probably guess
I'm
the
sorry.
other one.
It was at number 9. Slide was at number 9. One of their other songs was at 24, and one of their other songs was number 1.
I bet I know what that one is.
You probably do. And first of all, Jeffrey, don't put Creed and Nickelback in the same sentence. They are not the same band. Can we do Coldplay next? I can do some Coldplay.
I like Coldplay.
I gotta get another guest on, though. I gotta get another listener to jump on with me. So, Eric, you gonna jump on for Coldplay?
Yeah, Eric, come on. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. And Yash, not Creed the movie, Creed the band. Yash, my favorite U2 album is very hard for me. There are 3 that are really, really close, and it's Joshua Tree, Octoon Baby, and All That You Can't Leave Behind. I would probably edge, pardon the pun, toward Octoon Baby. Octoon Baby is an album that I put on all the time and just go cover to cover. I love every song on that album. Joshua Tree, the last 2 songs are really tough for me. So that's the only reason. Joshua Tree is awesome all the way till the last 2 songs. Octoon Baby finishes stronger. That's it.
Has have they always been your favorite?
Not
I
always,
mean,
probably from when I was 17 on.
yeah.
I found them right before Joshua Tree came out, and then when Joshua Tree came out and blew up, like then I
Hmm.
saw them on that tour, then I was in love. And that what I love about them is they keep changing. So you can listen to a different era of U2 and it's
Hmm.
completely different.
Is that Are they the ones you probably covered the most when you used to do in
I
the
cannot
bars
sing
and
U2.
you can't? Or
It's out of
TSO?
my
No.
range. It's out of my range. There's a couple songs I can sing of theirs, but Bono's range is
Hmm.
way higher than John's is. And we'll talk about some of that. So I think I've answered all the questions. And Bruce wants to come in for hip hop. We can do
Oh,
that.
that's
Yash
good.
wants to do Drake. Um, and Yash, just to let you
Write
know,
these
I've had
down. You want
two.
me to take notes?
Spiegel wants to do Audio Slave, maybe. I don't know. But Yash, just this weekend, I found two classic U2 albums at a used record store. It was like the biggest day of my life. I found War and I found Pop in a used record store. So I'm getting closer and closer to my collection.
That's awesome. I think record collections are really cool. I don't have one, but that would be something I think I could
It's a
see
rabbit
myself
hole I
getting
shouldn't have
into.
started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I look for like the original pressing instead of like the new one, and yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb,
No,
dumb,
it's not
dumb. But
dumb. I would think I would go down a rabbit hole too. So it's probably something I shouldn't start.
yeah. So okay. So you finished with your three. No, I did. Slide. So now we're
Yeah,
to number
slime.
two.
My number two is Iris, and I, our daughter is actually named Iris. And oh, fun fact: all of our kids are named after music or rap or like singers, but not on purpose. Calvin was first, and he like Snoop Dogg's real name's Calvin. It was an accident. And then Kendrick, like Kendrick Lamar, and then Iris was the only one we kind of planned. We just thought that was a pretty. We liked Goo Goo Dolls, obviously, and that was a pretty name for a little girl. So, and I can always picture that iconic music video where they did was it in New York maybe, where it was raining, pouring, and they just
Buffalo.
continued singing. Yeah, that's awesome. That gives me goosebumps anytime I watch that.
Yeah, it's really good. I love that. And they made an album out of it you can listen to on Spotify.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spotify, we're going to put this list up on Spotify. And just so you know, my public Spotify already has a Goo Goo Dolls playlist because they are one of my top bands.
Yeah.
Um, and it'll be much more in depth than the one we put together, but it'll be out there. Alyse and I's top 5 Goo Goo Dolls songs with the honorable mentions.
Awesome.
And then Wad Zombie, yes, Styx is one of my favorite bands as well. They were my first favorite band. So that would be awesome. And Little River Band is one of my wife's favorite bands. So I am familiar with all of that stuff. Let's get it on. Let's do a Fit Wars Styx style. So my number 2, and this is the most obscure one, is acoustic number 3 from Dizzy Up the Girl.
Wow, that is obscure. I don't even know if I am familiar with that.
Acoustic number 3. Um, Gosh, dang it. I have too many songs in my head right now.
Caleb, pull it up.
We don't want to get demonetized, but I will try to do just like a second to get me where it is. Come on, let's pause. It's like they painted up your secrets and the lies they told
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
That song.
That is,
So,
yeah. That wasn't even in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, it is a very obscure song. It was never released. It is another song that I love to belt it. So the reason I love Goo Goo Dolls is John Resnick in the Eyes range are identical, except for your number 2. I cannot do Iris.
Really?
I have to drop it an octave, and I'm not even sure John can do it the original way today. Because there's a
Yeah.
couple notes in there that go really, really, really high.
He can't do it like
So,
he did back then for sure.
right. But every other song, like I can sing along with him and have a blast. And acoustic number 3 is one of the first songs I learned to play on the acoustic guitar while I was trying to sing. And that's a different talent than just playing or singing. And so, yeah, it has a special place in my heart.
Aw. You're gonna have to do a show where you sing and play for us. That could be one of your. We can put in.
We'll
We
see.
can all put in requests.
So we're getting a ton of requests for different one. Eagles. I could do that
Oh,
one. Elton
Eagles.
John.
Yeah,
Love Elton
that's high up
John.
there.
Kiss, Duran Duran. I cannot do Bon Jovi. I am so sick of Bon Jovi. Liked him initially, and then it just got overplayed too much for me. And then Queen we can do.
Queen would be a hard one
Yeah.
to narrow down.
So here we are.
Drum roll.
Number one.
My number one is Let Love In.
Wow.
It's just like
I had it
it's
on
just
my
a love
honorable mention
song.
and took it off.
You gotta love love.
You gotta love.
Yeah, I mean,
That is
there's not
great.
like a story, I mean, behind it, or it's not connected to a name or anything like the other ones. It's just one that hits, I guess, for me. Just like a classic love song.
It's so funny because my number one is the furthest from their love songs.
That's all right.
So
They're all good.
and there's no special meaning for that love song. It's not something you and your husband or
No, no. I mean, when we went to the concerts, it was like they played, all of them or, a bunch of them. So it's like hard to narrow it down at all. But that's just one that I probably, if it comes on, I for sure don't change it. I don't know. I just like it.
so my number one is from a boy named Goo, and it is Long Way Down. It is probably the most rocking song of their
Yeah,
pop era. And I just love how it starts like with that kind of low raspy oh, here we are.
yeah.
Nothing left to say.
It is. It is.
No.
It's more rocky for them.
Yeah. And when I saw them in concert, John was playing lead guitar and he messed up
Oh
and he
God.
stopped and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I messed it up. Guys got to let me start again." And so he started again and he messed it up a second time. And he's like,
Oh
"All right,
man,
one more time, three times. I get three times." And he goes again and they just slaughtered it. It was so
that's
good,
awesome.
so awesome. And I just threw my phone on the floor
Why?
because I was so excited and I was talking with my hands. So I just flung it across the room.
Then him messing it up twice probably made the third time like even more, even better
Yeah.
once they did hit.
And they just let loose. They just killed it. It was just the best performance ever.
I've only been to two of their concerts, but they're definitely the best concerts I've been to. They sound, you know how sometimes you go to a concert and it's like, oh, like they don't even sound like they do on the CDs or on the radio, and they're not near as good. And Goo Goo Dolls always they're always so good. They never disappoint. The two times that I've been. So haven't you been like a lot?
I've only seen them once.
Oh,
I've
really?
gone to so when I was younger, like I lived outside of Pittsburgh and they got all the big shows.
Hmm.
Now that I live in Columbus, like the artists pick Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Columbus.
Yeah.
And so you get like every third tour or it's just a
It was
bizarre
close.
thing
It
here
would have
now.
been kind of close to you. It was. I think the place is called Riverbend.
Yeah, that is Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's
So that's two
Cincinnati,
hours
but
for me.
2 hours still. Yeah, but
Yeah, and it's not that I wouldn't do that. It's just,
yeah,
yeah.
for a
Until my
concert,
kid
it's a
just
little.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little far for that.
So let's hit the honorable mentions. I'll just let you list them off because I know you have 6 and I
Yeah.
have 8. And I won't name the ones you put in your top 5.
Okay. I have Slide. Name, Here Is Gone, Sympathy, Broadway, and Before It's Too Late.
Very,
Do you have
very
any
good.
do you have any matchers?
Well, I had Slide in my top 5. I had Name on my honorable mentions. I had Sympathy on my honorable mentions. I think that's it. Mine are Name, Naked from A Boy Named Goo, Big Machine from Gutter Flower,
Mm-hmm.
Here Is Gone, Sympathy, Stay With You, which I think you had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
like
that
early.
was my number 4, yeah.
Yeah. And then my only Robbie song is Rough Boys from Something from the Rest of Us, Something for the Rest of Us, and then The Sweetest Lie from Something for the Rest of Us. Those are my honorable mentions. So we'll have probably like a 15 to 18 song playlist.
Yeah. They're all so good too. Or I mean, I think so. I'm
So
biased.
do you have your list electronically?
No, but I can make it that way.
Yeah, it's either I watch this back to get all the songs to make my
Oh, I could
playlist,
actually
or
probably just screenshot it and send it to you on IG.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you saw them in concert, what was your favorite song live?
Oh, maybe Here Is Gone, I think. I don't know. That's a hard one. I'd have to think about that. Name,
Yeah,
maybe. I like Name a lot too. It was good. What
yeah.
was yours?
Mine is that long way down performance.
Yeah. I'm
Because
trying to
there
even
was a
think of
moment.
what all they played. It's hard to remember what all ones that they played too. And then the
You'll have
second time
their
I saw them, they had just had that newer CD release, so it was definitely different songs than they played some of the ones that, like Iris and Slide that they're gonna play every concert, I'm sure. But
yeah. I was surprised. I got their greatest hits album, and Long Way Down wasn't even on it.
really,
Yeah, that shocked
how
me.
many songs were on it? Do you remember?
Uh, I have the album version, so it's probably like 12 or 13.
I mean, it would be hard to pick what 12 or 13 to put on
Yeah, yeah.
with.
I don't know who's in charge of that, but doing these lists, I've learned it's not an easy gig.
Yeah. I wonder I wonder what John's favorite song is. Like the
Yeah, I don't
ones
know.
that we like are the ones that they're like, oh, that's overplayed. I can't even hardly, sometimes they don't like them as much anymore because they've played them so much or heard them so much or,
Right, right. And I think that's why, like, I didn't put Iris on my list at all.
hmm
Like, it's been overplayed to me, so I
yeah.
can only imagine for them. Um, I did see like this little documentary about the writing of Name, and it made me like appreciate the song way more than I did before. Because I didn't know John was orphaned as like a
Yeah.
young boy, and that song is a lot of the emotion that went through that period of his life.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was looking up the meaning of that song at one point either. I had no idea. You don't hear about it. Or I've never
Yeah,
seen anything about it before until sometimes when I listen
yeah,
to a song, I'm just like, I don't know what this is actually talking about because, you might interpret it different than what it was written for. So sometimes I randomly look those things up.
yeah. In this documentary, he actually said that song is a conglomeration of emotion from a series of things that happened to him. And our guy Nick, thank you, Nick. What is her husband's favorite song?
Um, I would say it'd be hard for him to pick, but I probably name the one we were just talking about is probably his favorite. I'm not sure. I'll have to
It
ask
has one
him.
of the greatest lines in in music history, and it is scars are souvenirs you never lose.
Mm-hmm.
And the past is never far. That line, if I wrote a line like that, I would drop the mic and walk out of the room.
Mic drop.
Yep.
They have,
it just
but
doesn't get much better than that.
I feel like they have a lot of lines like that. If you were to go through all their songs, I bet you could find a lot of those just real heavy hitter lines like that.
Yeah. It's so cool. However you guys want to touch that like button, I don't care if it's a smooch, a soft touch, a caress. We like any apparatus, any toy, anything you're going to use to hit that button, we will accept.
I can't even see the chat. I turned it off because I knew it would distract me. But I love you guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else we missed because I was so into our conversation, I didn't see everything.
You'll have to make your list. Hold these people to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Alyse, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for being the first listener to do this.
It was an
honor. Now some of your friends, some of our friends need to jump in and do this as well.
Yes. So I can listen.
With that, hey everyone, have a great night. Tomorrow is my procedure. Hopefully I will not have to hit the mute button anymore after that. Yeah, sorry, Nick, I said toy.
Can you just do it like once a show for old time's sake?
Alyse should be on the show on more often. Very engaging.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Nick said toy. They're talking about caressing and touching. I don't know. I don't know why I went there. What an honor that you're the first. People can't wait for the list. People are now saying good luck to me for tomorrow. Gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to breathe again.
I know. I couldn't imagine. What'd you say, like 10% or 15% that you're using 15 right now?
15% of my airway is all I have. So I can't wait till tomorrow. Get that out.
Well, good luck.
Well, thank you. And this was a blast, Alyse. We'll have to do it again. Seriously. We got to get some of these other people in first.
Yeah. Thanks
for having me. I will talk. Yeah. We'll see you guys all later on the Clydesdale Media Music.